Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Magic Maths. Today's topic is rules for subtracting integers. So let us start. So rule number 1 is if we are subtracting both the positive integers, the operation we use here is subtraction. We are going to subtract them, and the sign we apply here is of plus, means the answer, whatever the answer will come, that will be a positive integers. For example, here we have taken 7 minus 3, both are positive integers. So what are we going to do? We are going to subtract them, so the answer will be 4, and it has to be a positive integer. The answer will be plus 4, that means it's a positive integer. So this was rule number 1. Rule number 2 is if we are subtracting one positive integer or one negative integer, we are going to add them. If the equation is like this, that one integer is positive and one is negative and the sign here is of negative, it means we have to subtract it. What we are going to do is we are going to add them. We are not going to subtract them. We are going to add them, and the sign we apply here will be of positive. So let me give you an example. If we are taking 4, that's a positive integer, minus, here we will take minus 2. Here 4 is a positive integer and minus 2 is a negative integer. What are we going to do them? We are going to add them. 4 plus 2, so it will become 6, and the sign we are going to use is of plus, so it will become, so the answer is 6 only. And again, if we'll take, suppose here the positive integer is smaller, 2. The first option was this, and this is the second option. If the positive integer is smaller number and the negative integer, suppose here I am taking minus 4. So now you can see one integer is positive and the second one is negative. Firstly, I have taken positive integer, a bigger number. Now I have taken positive integer, a smaller number. Still, we are going to add both of them, and the sign we apply here before the answer is plus sign. So what are we going to do? Again, we are going to plus them. So the answer again will be plus 6. So this was rule number 2. So rule number 3 is if we are subtracting both the positive integers and the second integer, the second integer is bigger, what we are going to do is we are going to subtract them, and the sign will be of the answer is of negative. We are going to put minus before them. So I'll give you an example. Suppose the first integer, the positive integer is always a smaller number in rule number 3, and the second integer, second positive integer has to be a bigger number. So now you can see the first positive integer is smaller than the second positive integer. So we are going to subtract them. 4 minus 6, or you can do 6 minus 4 is 2. And here we are going to put a minus sign before 2. So it will be minus 2. So minus 2 is a negative integer. So this is rule number 3. Again, I am repeating. If the second positive integer is bigger than the first positive integer, when we are subtracting them, we are going to subtract them. Unlike rule number 1, here we have subtracted them, but the sign was of positive. Here again we are going to subtract them, but the sign will be of negative. The sign will be minus. Answer will be minus 2. So this is rule number 3. So rule number 4 is if we are subtracting both the negative integers, both the integers are negative, so what we are going to do, we are going to subtract them and we are going to put minus sign before them. So here let me explain you with the example. Here I am taking minus 5 and we are subtracting them. The second integer is minus 2. Now here you can see both the integers are negative. So what we are going to do, we are going to subtract them. So simply we'll write 5 minus 2, 3, and sign we are going to put is minus. So the answer will be minus 3, a negative integer. Rule number 5 is, again, if we are subtracting both the integers, it is similar to rule number 4, but the change is if the first integer is smaller, first negative integer is smaller, and the second negative integer is bigger than the first one, again we are going to subtract it, but the sign we put is of plus. So here how can let me explain you. Suppose here I am taking -2, and now if the second negative integer is bigger than the first one, let me take here -5. First I have taken the first negative integer was bigger than the second one, so we have subtracted it, but the sign was of negative, the sign was minus. So here if the second negative integer is bigger than the first negative integer, again we are going to subtract it. So 5 minus 2 is 3, but the sign before the answer will remain a plus sign, positive. It means the answer will be +3, a positive integer. Rule number 6 is if we are going to add a negative integer and a positive integer, we are going to add them, but the sign will be off. The sign comes before the answer is a minus sign. So see here what we are going to do. We are going to take first negative integer smaller and the positive integer a bigger number. So here I am taking -3 minus, let me take here a bigger positive integer 7. So first rule number 6 says that the first negative integer has to be small and the second integer, a positive integer, has to be big, then only we are going to add them. So the answer will be 7 plus 3, 10, but the sign here we use before the answer is of minus. So the answer is -10, a negative integer. So these were the rules of rules for subtracting integers. I hope you understood all the rules. Keep practicing.